Greetings, unsettled souls, and welcome to the Correct Views. Sam IB Ganji reporting for the Media Speaks. Check us out at mediaspeaks.com. Friends, we are going to zip right into the news. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking at the beginning of some of these because there's just so much to get to, and this is one such night. Twitter shuts down Truckers for the Constitution. Group plans to arrest members of Congress Friday. Paul Joseph Watson, InfoWars. I'm in favor of this. I'm not in favor of violence. Now, if the truckers were going to go there and start whooping congressional ass, then I would not be in favor of that. However, to bring in an arrest for illegal activities, which is exactly what many members of the Congress are in fact guilty of, I'm in favor of that. Okay, they're not talking about hurting anybody, and as long as they don't hurt anybody, they've got my support. Twitter has suspended the account belonging to Truckers for the Constitution, a group that has received national media attention over its plan to roadblock traffic in D.C. and arrest members of Congress later this week. Although the event, scheduled for Friday, has been public for around a week, it went viral this morning after being covered in a lengthy piece by the U.S. News and World Report, which was also linked to the Drudge Report. We are not going to ask for impeachment, the group's organizer, Earl Conlon, said. We are coming whether they like it or not. We are not asking for impeachment. We're asking for the arrest of everyone in government who has violated their oath of office. Perfectly legal. By the way, you don't have to be a cop to arrest someone. Look that up. The group has promised to allow emergency vehicles and anyone who expresses support to bypass the convoy, but says that it will set up a 3-lane roadblock if police attempt to interfere with the group's demands. The organization promises to be peaceful and thinks it possible to achieve the arrest of 1 or 2 Congress members, a spectacle that will represent a shot across the bow that will ripple across all branches of government. The group's main gripe is the Obama administration's policy of using taxpayer dollars to fund al-Qaeda-linked rebels in Syria. I agree. Twitter reacted to the news by almost immediately terminating the group's account. Attempting to access the organ gives you an error screen if you try to look at it. Although the group's Facebook page currently has nearly 50,000 likes, its previous incarnation was also permanently deleted. Facebook and Twitter's targeting of Truckers for the Constitution is yet another reminder that the social media giants have total contempt for the First Amendment and any form of political activism that is anti-Obama. Despite the fact that Twitter routinely fails to shut down accounts that directly threaten violence, it is even slow removing accounts belonging to terrorist groups. It took them 5 days to shut down the al-Qaeda account, but only 5 hours from when the U.S. News and World Report linked to the Drudge Report. So it says here that al-Qaeda gets 5 days, while the truckers, of course, only get 5 hours. It's more than that. Remember the Trayvon insanity? Remember all these boneheads that were out there saying they were going to hurt people if Trayvon got hurt, and many of them, in fact, are doing so? Twitter left their accounts up forever. And I'll tell you what, I'm not a big Twitter fan. I'm on it. And the correct views of Twitter, I'm very unimpressed. I really am. I know Kyle Phillips has luck on it. Anybody here listening from Twitter? Absolutely not. Everybody come everywhere but. TheGuardian.com. This is the main story I've been putting on the sites that I've been promoting this from, and I've been calling it "Russia Still Sucks," and I'm going to stand by that. This is where I'm going to be. Just a little bit pro-America, and I'm kidding. But I mean, I think there's this misbelief that libertarians and those of this mindset are somehow anti-America. No, we're not. We're anti-things America does that greatly lessen the quality of our lives while they do it. And there's been almost like a Putin worship here over the way that they've handled Eric Snowden, who is a hero, and the way they've handled Syria, which is by eliminating chemical weapons from Syria, thus preventing war. Those 2 things are good. You have to be a fool not to support those things. Again, Eric Snowden is a hero. He's not a traitor. Friends, just because Russia was correct on 2 issues does not mean that they are in fact the correct views. Russia is still a very, very communistic mindseted state. And that matters when things like this happen. Russia to monitor all communications at Winter Olympics in Sochi. In other words, they're hardly any better than America. Maybe a little bit because, it's been allowed to be known, although you can argue that it was leaked. Athletes and spectators attending the Winter Olympics in Sochi in February will face some of the most invasive and systemic spying and surveillance in the history of the Games, documents shared with The Guardian show. Russia's powerful FSB security service plans to ensure that no communication by competitors or spectators goes unmonitored during the event, according to a dossier compiled by a team of Russian investigative journalists looking into preparations for the 2014 Games. Oh, but Russia is the pinnacle of freedom. We need to worship Putin and kiss his Russian behind. No, we don't. In a ceremony on Red Square Sunday afternoon, the President Vladimir Putin, the god, held by the Olympic flame, he held it aloft and set it on its epic journey around the country, saying Russia and its people had always been imbued in the qualities of openness and friendship. Yeah, always. Stalin was so much openness and friendship. For those of you that don't know history, he killed as many people as Hitler, making Sochi the perfect destination for the Olympics. Yeah, if you like spied on. But government procurement documents and tenders from Russian communication companies indicate that newly installed telephone and internet spying capabilities will give the FSB free rein to intercept any telephone or data traffic and even track the use of sensitive words or phrases mentioned in emails, web chats, and on social media. Oh no, not Russia. Why, Russia's the pinnacle of freedom because they were right on two issues. Makes me sick. I'm going to read some more. The journalists Andrei Solotov and Irina Borogin, who are experts on the Russian security services, collated dozens of open-source technical documents published by the Zukepki Government Procurement Agency website, as well as public records of government oversight agencies. They found that major amendments have been made to telephone and Wi-Fi networks of the Black Sea, and they resort to ensuring extensive and all-permeating monitoring and filtering of all traffic, using Storm, which is Russia's system of intercepting telephone and internet communications. The Storm system is being modernized across Russia, but particular attention has been paid to Sochi given the large number of foreign visitors expected next year. In other words, they're going to be spying on their own people and foreigners the same way we did, the same way that Snowden said that we did, and the same way that we did to Brazil. The same way that Canada did to Brazil, by the way. And it goes on. You're going to want to read it. It's a rather long article. But that's the nuts and bolts of it there, people. Russia is as knee-deep in this spying, looking for terrorists under every rock. Although at least, they're not saying it's terrorists. At least, they're just spying, and they're not claiming it's for some great good. But, yes, the Russians and the Russian government, I should say, are rotten. And I'm not somebody that really supported the Pussycat Dolls. I thought they were immature, childish, inappropriate, and stupid. However, they deserve what they got. Not to the level that they got. It was ridiculous. RonPaulInstitute.org, East Ghouta false flag chemical attack. The International Institute for Peace, Justice, and Human Rights has just published a comprehensive report on the chemical attack in the Damascus suburb of East Ghouta, Ghouluta. The document is called The Chemical Attacks on East Ghouta to Justify Military Right to Protect Intervention in Syria, with video clips and evidence provided by witnesses to support the conclusions. The report has been submitted to the United Nations Human Rights Council and spread among foreign diplomats. The author, it says, is ICE team's president and international coordinator, Mother Agnes, Miriam of the Cross of As-Salib, and Mother Superior of the Monastery of St. James of Syria. The fearless faithful, she has been collecting the evidence related to bloody events in the conflict since the very start of the rebellion. So listen to this. Listen to this. And I know watching me read into the camera isn't necessarily the most interesting of videos, but I want to make sure that I document what she says and why she says it. So everything I'm going to say is very, very important if you really are following this Syria mess. So please listen to this. The study of 35 videos posted on the internet has made surface multiple disparities and brought into light the methods used to manipulate public opinion. The clips showing hundreds of dead and suffocating victims, including scores of children suffering as a result of chemical weapons attack by government troops, had been prepared previously before the incident took place in order to justify the intervention against Syria. False flag, staged. Okay, it's staged, it was fake. The report offers the following fundamental conclusions. Actually, there were no local residents at the time of the attack in the area of East Ghouta, the place chosen for staging the provocation. The majority of the population had left East Ghouta before the combat action started. The ones left were only a few elders and some supporters of the rebels, predominantly adolescents and grown-ups. The victims' dead body mainly belonged to the people from various places situated far away from East Ghouta. Some of them have been identified by relatives. So it's not a conspiracy theory. Many videos have a fictional character, or to put it plainly, are obvious fakes with the dead bodies of people who were killed, kidnapped, and missing as a result of the rebel attack on 11 Alawate villages in Latakia on August 3rd, 2013. Back then, over 150 women and children were kidnapped to be exchanged for militants being kept behind bars in Syrian jails. The authors of the report adduce the detailed list of already identified victims and the missing persons. They point out the list contains 400 names, so at present it is far from being full. Here are the examples of staged incidents. Listen to this. Scripted events of deaths and aid provided to victims. A. 2 video clips presented by Jabbar Revolutionary Coordination Committee and the Revolutionary Committee on Hamoria show contradicting pictures of the same adolescent dying in different footages. Oh, it's just a conspiracy theory saying people die every single day twice. They're not on an operating table. It's probably not very common. In some places, the picture shows the very same child receiving emergency aid over and over again, and each time it's done in a different way. The authors of the report and experts say it looks very much like a scripted footage when the very same picture is shot from many different times. He was never heard at all. It was fake. B. Demonstration of victims' bodies and their burial. Having announced the death toll was 1465, and this lie has been repeated many times by U.S. top officials, the rebels could produce the evidence of only 8 burials. The bodies mainly belong to children. Few victims are adults, and there are almost no women among the dead of East Ghouta. Joint medical staff reported that many corpses were female. Thirdly, demonstration of extremely strange instances when persons were transported in space. The same dead bodies shown over and over again in different footages. For instance, the same woman who was allegedly looking for her children somehow managed to be present in 5 video clips shot at different places at the same time. She also found 2 of the children and somehow did it in 2 different places as well. Another clip showed the chemical attack victims in Jabbar. The children shown in the video appear to be victims again, but this time in the place they are called Kfar Batana, Kfar-Batana. The third video clip shows the very same children as victims in Ain Terma. You can't just sweep this under the carpet. The Ron Paul Institute is really onto something here, and unfortunately, I'm sure most people just skipped this whole. Did you skip ahead? Didn't you? Because you didn't want to hear it, you didn't want to believe it, or maybe it was just too boring. They have proven that these people, in many instances, were actors. We're going to go to war for something that was staged. We almost did. If it wasn't for the god of Putin, we would have it. Guys, go to themediaspeaks.com. You click on the Bud K ad. When you click on Bud K, you will not only be getting amazing merchandise, you will also be getting the very, very best chance to help the Media Speaks. When you buy something from Bud K by clicking on the Media Speaks, which is the order that we need you to do it in, when you do that, everything you buy will be helping us, give you better shows, and let's face it, better news more often. I'm going to go to the closeouts and just randomly pick 3. The Avalanche Crossbow, 120-pound, Bud K, $49.98. You know anybody that hunts? If you do, they will love you for that. The United Black Euro Dragon Forge Katana Damascus Sword. It's $189.99. But if you know someone that really knows about swords, God, this is beautiful. I had the honor of taking martial arts and victory Asian arts from Master Blackwell, and I know my swords. This is very, very nice. Also, the Night Watchman 100,000 bolt stun gun. Ladies, you walk into your cars. You just got off work. As you walk to the car, you see some freak. Wouldn't you like to have the Night Watchman 100,000 volt stun gun? It's $9.99. They're practically giving it away. So go to themediaspeaks.com. Click on the Bud K ad and help us. Guys, you've been very kind with your Fukushima hits, and ask and ye shall receive. I'm going to give you here 2 Fukushima stories right in a row. One is straight.com. Fish data belie Japan's claims on Fukushima. There's another one on this now. So, I mean, if you're eating fish, you're crazy. Are fish from the Pacific Ocean safe to eat? No, by no means will they ever be safe again. And if you know anything about the half-life of radionuclides, you know I'm telling you the truth. It is a question at the back of the news after revelations of highly radioactive water leaking into the ocean from Japan's Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. Let me assure you that the situation is under control, lied the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. And he said it during a lobbying for the 2020 Olympics. Again, I've covered this before. The only thing that he cares about is making the money for the country. He doesn't care how many people are jeopardized or how many people are going to have damaged thyroids and damaged hearts and damaged livers by eating this food and by going there. It says the fish tell a different story about the impacts of the March 2011 tsunami that destroyed the Fukushima plant and caused massive amounts of radiation to end up in the Pacific. Basically, friends, they're finding radiation in the seafood and they're shipping it to the United States. I covered some of this in the last Fukushima update, but I came across another story that referenced this, and I just wanted to show that it is still very much happening. Totally new, I just saw this. Popular fast food chain to grow 60 miles, is going to grow food 60 miles from the Fukushima plant. Would you like to eat radioactive food 60 miles from the nuclear power plant? If you would, you're an idiot. It is the worst meltdown in recorded history. It's awful. It's the power of the universe here that they can't seem to get under control. Eating food there is, for those of you that love chocolate, I unfortunately do have a sweet tooth. Never eat Hershey's. Look up Helen Caldicott, what she said about never eating Hershey's because of the 3 mile accident. That will be poisoned now for hundreds of thousands of years. Don't eat Hershey. NBCnews.com, Tokyo. A Japanese fast food chain has announced plans to grow rice and vegetables on a farm 60 miles from the crippled Fukushima plant, site of the worst nuclear disaster since Chernobyl in 1986, because they don't care about people's health. Also, if the food is grown there, but it's shipped all over, and Chris Busby has talked about this, if they can get the radiation to give people cancer all over Japan, then they won't ever be able to sue Fukushima by proving that it was in one spot because they deliberately didn't keep it localized so they could kill people and get away with it. Yoshinoya Holdings, Yoshinoya, which sells gyudon, Gyudon, or stewed beef over rice, has formed a joint venture with local farmers to grow onions, cabbage, and rice for the use in outlets across the country. All right, correct viewers. Anything that you have with Yoshinoya Holdings, those of you that own stock in that, you are leading to your people's death, to their harm. Drop their stocks. People, avoid this restaurant like the plague. Don't listen to them. Don't believe their lies. I'm out here for a reason. Use the thinking part of your brain. About 160,000 people nearest the plant were ordered to evacuate. The voluntary evacuation zone was 19 miles, a 12-mile radius they had to move. The leaks prompted many consumers to shun products from Fukushima Prefecture, which was once well known for its fruit, mushrooms, and vegetables. Don't eat any mushrooms. I love mushrooms. Eat no mushrooms. No mushrooms. They're sucking up radiation like sponges. They do it more than just about anything else. The crops will be grown in Shirakawa to the southwest of the plant, the company said. Yoshinoya said it would ensure the vegetables were safe. That is a lie. They're going to test for certain elements, knowing that they won't find them, and the other elements that are just as dangerous, you won't see anything about it at all. Why? Because this is how filth runs. This is how scum runs. That's why. These idiots. Makes me sick. Hold on. Traitorous bastards. These people are not only killing their own people, but they're jeopardizing the whole world so they can sit there and smile. Look, we got the Olympics. We're going to poison thousands. These people are disgusting people. They're despicable. And if for any reason any of you would even think about eating food there, then it makes me wonder if you even care about your own life, your own health. We will employ local people in the factory to poison people. They're fellow people. We think this will lead to support for reconstruction, Yoshinoya said in the statement. Oh, you know, if Assad allegedly kills his own people, he's awful. Okay? We rightfully condemn Hitler and Stalin for killing their own people. We condemn Saddam Hussein for killing his own people. And yet when the Japanese do it, it's fine. It's okay. It's good. Japan applies strict food monitoring and says that many products allowed on the market are safe. Yeah, well, Hitler said you were only getting a shower right before he gassed you. Despite these assurances, public fears have led it to a drop in the price of Fukushima produce and huge losses for farmers who should not be farming there. They are stupid. The operator of the plant, Tokyo Electric Power Company, is struggling to contain contaminated water at the site. Yeah. There it is, friends. I mean, that's your Fukushima mini update there. I don't know what to tell you, but I guess I do know what to tell you. If you eat any seafood from these people, you're signing yourselves up for death and hurt and sorrow and sickness and misery. Last thing I'm going to get to, Sugar Daddy website membership soared following the government shutdown. Julie Wilson, Infowars.com. I'm not going to go in the direction of this that you would expect. I really don't have a problem with it. I'll tell you why. You're going to condemn women for what I'm about to read you, finding a sugar daddy. You're going to condemn women for doing that? Why? Because you didn't send all the jobs out? See, it's old people going after really younger people, and a lot of times it's through an arrangement of money, and they agree to go on dates or have sex or whatever. And the older one pays and buys gifts for the girls. Kind of an arrangement. Some of my more ghetto-raised people will know the word F-friends, and I did censor it for Kyle. Funk friends. Yeah, well, I think it's great that these old farts have to spend their hard-earned money on young women. Why? Because they're the reason they have to do it. There's no chances and opportunities in this country. Really? I've never seen an opportunity. Any opportunities anywhere. There's opportunities for nothing. There's opportunities to go nowhere. You can write books. There's no publishers to read them because you don't have a Richie agent. There are no opportunities in this country. So people are doing things like this. And a lot of times, I've said it openly, I make most of my money DJing, and it's in a strip club more often than not. And you want to know something? I don't blame any of those girls because they were born into a country with no opportunities whatsoever. Everything that should have been theirs was sent to other countries for the lowest bidder. So you don't condemn them. You condemn the bastards that sent their jobs away. An online dating site that considered itself to be the world's largest sugar daddy dating website has seen a huge increase in signups, with membership subscriptions doubling since the government shut down last week. The popular website titled SeekingArrangement.com describes itself as the #1 website for those seeking mutually beneficial relationships. which typically consists of a wealthy older man supporting a much younger girlfriend or mistress, providing her with lavish gifts. Why? Because she can't afford them in herself in this country, because there are no opportunities here. And I'm one of those people, I don't really care if someone calls me a failure or not. Who knows? Maybe I am. I have hundreds of listeners when I should have thousands. Well, you know what? That's because there are no opportunities in this country. Why? Because there's no way to bring more people in to what it is that you're doing, because nobody has any money to invest in anything, because all of the opportunities have in fact been sent away. It's all in a circle. I'm happy these girls found a way to feed themselves. It doesn't involve hurting someone. It's not their fault they were born into nothingness. 50% of the new subscribers are single moms. This fact has led the company to believe that the dramatic increase is directly correlated to the government shutdown, especially since programs like witches never get into WIC, never do that. They become Nazis and check your home all the time and check this and check that. And they call CPS over nothing and take your kids away. Don't get involved in WIC. Programs like the very Nazi WIC have been stalled, leaving 9 million women without assistance. But we can keep funding wars. The international website also says the spike in memberships are coming from subscribers solely located within the U.S. Additionally, the increase occurred almost immediately after the government announced its shutdown last week. It says that the public relations manager for SeekingArrangement.com, Jennifer Gwynn, said in an interview that business is usually very slow this time of year. For us to peak at the end of the month of September, and then this week in January, it makes no sense for us to have growth like this, said Gwynn. CBS reports that another website called whatsyourprice.com advertises itself as the world's first online dating auction, has been a massive increase in daily signups since the government shutdown. You know what I say? I say this, ladies, if you need to do something like this, you need to get into dancing or stripping. There's people, and I don't mean all rich people. I'm not going to say that all rich people have stolen from other people to get rich, because they don't believe that, but many have. Smile when you take every penny of their money, if they're one of these people that were into outsourcing. If they're one of these people that helped you have to do this, take them for every penny they have. Now, I will say this. There are a lot of very rich older people, I'm sure, that are very, very lonely and very, very sad. And I think a lot of these women are going to get the shark mentality and just break these guys. Christelle! That is absolutely hilarious, by the way. I'm just going to keep on going until I get the behind-the-scenes queen back up here. But, friends, I'm just going to keep talking. Let me tell you, this is something that is a big deal, because when you've taken all the opportunity away from people, then they do things like prostitution. They do things like dancing. Christelle! They do things such as hurting other people to make money. They do all of these sorts of things. And why does it happen? It happens because there isn't an opportunity to do anything. You can't go to school. Yeah, just go ahead and hold it. This is the last topic. Christelle, I have no idea, by the way, it was ghosts. You guys have been in this room with me. Christelle, show the back of the wall. Show the back wall.
I can't. It's tied.
Trust me, friends. Behind her, like a 1.5 feet back, is a wall. There's no way for that to have happened, okay? There's absolutely no way other than ghosts for that to have happened. But I'm not going to dwell on it. Technical issues are what they are. Life goes on. I'm going to close this story out, though. Friends, I'm dead serious about this. This is a huge problem, because this is why people are selling crack. They're selling a lot more than their bodies. They're selling a lot more than their time and their dates. These are people who are SOL. And they're SOL because our country does not produce enough jobs to help people pay for anything anymore. So what you're going to find is this kind of thing going on more and more and more. And if you don't like it, then maybe we need to do something. What kinds of something? Well, maybe one thing, we should make outsourcing illegal. Maybe we should make it so that if you outsource a job in this country, then you get taxed to living hell to bring it back into the country. Maybe we should really, really penalize countries that do this. Companies that do this to our country, because it is the reason that we are seeing these sorts of things happen. Christelle to the rescue. Friends, you are listening to the Media Speak, the correct views on the Media Speaks. Yes, the ghosts. Would you mind telling me how that fell, listeners? I have no idea. Do me a favor, go to themediaspeaks.com. Click on the Bud K ad. Look at the work of Kyle, Court, D-Lake, and myself. Friends, thank you for listening. Share this. Share it everywhere you go. That's how we grow. Good night. God bless. Good job, Christelle. For my live listening friends, how in the world could that have ever happened? How in the world could that have ever happened? There's nothing over there. Don't ask me. Good night, friends.